The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosinzia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available on Amazon.
The Mike Wagner Show, also brought to you by The Sweet Summits by Serena Wagner, available on Amazon, highlighting the Book of David.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios, brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosinzia, Missing, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Coming soon, Missing 2, Double the Suspense, Double the Fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by a sweet psalm special Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 exquisite paintings and King David Psalms. Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalm Serena Wagner, and check out the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com. 50 podcast platforms, over 110 countries. Follow us on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, and more. We're here with the amazing self-employed author, writer, producer, and co-host of New Jersey Discover TV and audio media production company to talk about that. Graduated from Rutgers University in a College of Pharmacy, 25-year career in sales, and on an advisory board on Women's Health Institute at Rutgers, and also appeared on One True Thing and War of the World. And he's got a new book out which traces the contours of one man's life or his journey to spirit across 7 decades. The book is called There's a Tortoise in My Hair, A Journey to Spirit, live, ladies and gentlemen, Plus Studios in beautiful downtown New Jersey. The amazing self-employed author, writer, producer, and also a co-host of a wonderful podcast. And the book, There's a Tortoise in My Hair, the multi-talent, Calvin Schwartz. Calvin, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, all those, the three things. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's great to be back with you, Mike. Truly. And, you know, we just got talking. You know, to me, you're in one of the great places in America, and it was on top of my bucket list. We were going to do this, and I just found out over the weekend that friends who we were going to travel cross country with, they decided to go move to Florida. And so our little dream has been back pocketed for a while. But anyway, I'm thrilled to be with you and get a chance to share some stuff and also talk about your country out there, because I love it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're welcome to come on anytime, Calvin, and love to have you on board too. So you're a self-employed author, writer, producer. You co-host in New Jersey Discover TV and also have a media production company. You graduated from Rutgers University, College of Pharmacy. You have a 25 career in sales and also an advisory board on Women's Health Institute at Rutgers Medical School. And also you appeared on One True Thing and War of the World. You have a new book, traces the contours of one man's life or his journey to spirit across 7 decades. The book is called There's a Tortoise in My Hair, not in my soup. It's also in my hair. Before getting all that, Calvin, tell us how you first got started.
So I went to Rutgers University College of Pharmacy. I don't mind dating myself, in the 60s. So you can do the math as I approach octogenarian status in another 2 months. But I went to Rutgers, studied pharmacy, graduated. Never liked it. Never liked science, never liked physics, never liked chemistry. But I got pushed into it by my mom, and I did it for 12 years. And because I'm a spiritual guy, this says Journey to Spirit. One day, 1981, I awoke, and I said to my poor wife out there, I said, I got to quit my profession. She said, what do you mean? We just got married. What do you mean you're quitting? We bought a house, we got married. This is 1981. I said, I can't do this anymore. She said, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. So I quit. And just at that second, and I had no idea, Mike, what I was going to do with my life. Because, my whole life was pharmacy school. There was a local playhouse, and they were having tryouts for a play called Frankenstein, The Frankenstein. and I'm 6'5". You can't tell because I'm sitting down, but I'm 6'5". And I said to my wife, "That's it, divine intervention. I quit my profession. Now they're looking for a guy to play Frankenstein." I said, "I'm going." So, my wife and I, we drove up. She wasn't thrilled about it, and I auditioned for the part of the creature. That was 1981. I'm still waiting to hear if I got the part. I guess I didn't. I guess I didn't get the part. So I sat home for 6 months, and I was getting caught up on General Hospital and One Life to Live, all the soap operas, and my wife's teaching, and I'm having a grand old time watching soap operas, The Rockford Files at 3 o'clock, and
Oh yeah, one of my favorite shows back in the day. Good old
yep,
James Garner,
James
his
Garner.
beloved Firebird. That's right.
Love it, love it, love it. Loved him, love everything that he's done. I mean, one of my favorite movies, The Americanization of Emily. He plays, this dog robber in I guess it was the army. Dog robbers used to get generals, bottles of cognac and everything else they could want during the war, and he was so good at that. But anyway, then I had a relative come to me and say, "Calvin, your wife's working, your marriage is kind of falling apart. You got to do something. I'll get you a job selling eyeglasses." So I never sold anything in my life, no, nothing. And I didn't want to do it, but it was a matter of survival. So I took a job selling eyeglasses, and there was a little spark. Gee, I like talking to people. I never did. And I like talking to people. And within a year and a half, I got a job working for the biggest eyewear company in the world. Actually, when I started with them, they were small. They're called Luxottica Group, Luxottica. They own LensCrafters and Pearl and Ray-Ban and everything in the eyeglass business. And I started working for them. Within a year, I was number one in the country. Got a job
Oh
as
wow, okay.
number one in the country. I became regional manager, and I stayed there 25 years.
Oh my goodness, that is a long time. Truly amazing.
Long time. Loved. I took 50 courses in how to sell, because everything in life is a sale. If you think about it, you're with four friends, and one guy wants to go for Asian, and somebody wants to go for Thai food and deli and Italian, and whoever wins makes the sale where you wind up going. But anyway, I learned an awful lot there, and I probably would have retired from there, except the big part of my life, because I'm so spiritual. I watched Casablanca 20 years ago.
Hmm.
I think we talked about that. Love Casablanca, and watch Casablanca, and at the end of the movie, Bogart shoots the bad guy, and then Claude Rains picks up a bottle of Vichy water, which is like French Perrier. Kind of looks like that.
Oh yes, that's right. You got a book by the same name, Fishy Water.
That's right. So Claude Rains, the great character actor, sees the word Vichy in it. Anything in 1942 that had Vichy in it meant you were like conspiring with the Germans. So he throws it in the garbage. The second it hits the garbage, I grab my head just like this, and I yell, "Oh my God!" Like Fred Sanford. Remember Fred Sanford? Hey,
I remember. Yes,
Elizabeth, I'm coming.
yes.
Yes. So that was a novel was in my head. Never wrote anything in my life. Never took English because everything was science. And I came down here, sat in this chair, and in 5 years, this got published. Vichy Water.
Vichy Water. That's right. Yes, and a little bit about the book as well too.
Yeah, it's a coming of age story. Two characters sitting on a little bench. It's a coming of age story. Two boys, different backgrounds, really different backgrounds, become best friends, and it's a story of their friendship and their journey through life. The most important thing for me, and maybe your audience, is I always believed that somebody up there, and that's why I wrote my second book. Somebody up there put this into my head, because I never wrote anything before. And I went on, and finally, after 10 years of figuring out who, why, where, when, who put this into my head, I finally found the reason. It would take hours to explain. Actually, it was a woman in Minnesota, a poet, who kind of helped me figure it out. And when I figured it out, I panicked because it was my grandfather who put this novel into my head. And this became a vehicle to me because, Mike, I retired from Luxottica, and all of a sudden, overnight, I became a journalist, a novelist, another novelist, became a broadcaster, had a cable TV talk show, started to teach at Rutgers. It was all because of this. This became a vehicle for me to change my life. And I found out this spirit in my life is my grandfather. And I panicked because I didn't know if I even had a picture of him because my mom and dad were gone. So I jumped up, ran back there, got a picture, and here's the picture, which started me on the road to a spiritual awareness. So here's the picture. That's my grandfather, 1902, Newark, New Jersey. And you see what's on
okay.
that bottle of water.
Oh, he's the one in the middle. I see it.
Yeah. He's by my finger, but that on that table in 1902 in Newark is that bottle of water that he implanted in my vision through the mysteries of life. And
my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, powerful stuff. And that then began my journey, spiritual stuff. I mean, I was doing things that I would have never dreamt that I was doing. I mean, teaching at Rutgers, are you kidding me? I never taught anything in my life before. Now I'm teaching at a major university. I mean, all these things, and co-hosting, a cable TV talk show, bringing in, we brought in some pretty cool people. We brought in Gilbert Gottfried, and we had Tim Wright, whose locker at the New England Patriots was next to Tom Brady. Never interviewed any hockey guys. It is what it is. But I played water polo against a couple of Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, there you go. They're just as good, I'll tell you.
Yes, I know you're a hockey guy. It was 76. I was down in the Caribbean right after hockey season, and I was at a place called Club Med, and a lot of hockey players who were single used to go to Club Med. It's a big singles place. I was there. I had just gotten divorced, and I was there, and there was Rick Chartrand from the Canadiens and Glenn Goldup. Solid players, and we played some water polo and do a little friendship began. So that's been my interesting journey, and I had to tell the story spiritually because there's just interesting things out there that I think we all have it, and I just was kind of lucky because I had this antenna that was kind of up there, and here I am.
Mm-hmm. And you're certainly amazing as well, too. And we'll get into there's a tortoise in my hair, a journey to spirit with Calvin Schwartz in just a minute. But first, listen to the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by SoundCloud Studios. Visit online at soundcloudstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. Takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those will be the first go missing. It's available on Amazon and paperback and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has got great reviews, and even 11 enjoys by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassie, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. For it goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Coming soon, Missing 2 by Mia Molson-Zia, double the suspense, double the fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 exquisite paintings and King David's Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives a new perspective of David through the Psalms he wrote as the time of shepherd started and complicate yet turbulent relationship with King Saul. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, hope, and more. Check out The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner on Amazon. Keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. Also, check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, 50 podcast platforms, heard in 110 countries. Check us on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, and more, and take us with you on any mobile device. And for great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast, t-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, makes great gifts 24/7. Go to Amazon.com. Check out the Mike Wagner Show podcast. And for more great gift ideas, go to Amazon.com/me and Molson Zia for great books, merchandise, and more. And support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here today as a self-employed author, writer, producer, and co-host of New Jersey Discover TV, and also a host of a podcast, Calvin Schwartz with There's a Tortoise in My Hair here on the Mike Wagner Show. And let's get started. First of all, how'd you come up with that name?
Well, I knew the kind of character I wanted to portray. I wanted to portray actually somebody kind of like me, who took many, many years to kind of grow and develop. I was slow, and it took me in either in 8th or 9th grade till I finally learned how to tie my shoes. I mean, I was just slow, and I didn't have great dexterity. So I wanted to create a character similar to me. And my father was a great athlete, one of the better basketball players in New Jersey back in the 20s. He was really good. And I guess I wasn't a great athlete and sports inclined, even though I became one, but I wasn't. So the character is similar to me, not me, but similar. So how do I represent? And so I imagined my character's father in the book, so looking at me and not being able to walk or tie shoes. I couldn't walk. You know, a lot of kids walk at 1 year old. I was not even close. So I made up the title. There's a tortoise in my hair to kind of as a metaphor for my being slow to develop academically, socially, the whole thing. And that's where the title came in. And actually, it's kind of a cute title because, you know, tortoise in the hare and that race, and the tortoise wins the race.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's so that's how I came up with the title.
That certainly is as well too, and it's based on a small child growing up about Cameron Simmons being haunted, beginning, and of course, you also had constant threats of Vietnam draft, and also family relationships and more chemical dependency, and it's also starting from that time and working away, but then it also gets better in the end. So, you know, kind of a bit early part as well, too, with, having a start on that and constant threat, Vietnam draft and fair relationships and more.
Yeah. It was a hard time. I mean, there's always hard times, you know, growing up. Growing up in the 60s was a hard time because we had Vietnam. We had civil rights was exploding. Women's lib was coming into being.
Mm-hmm.
We had, and although quite similar, you know, Democrats and Republicans. It was polarized as polarized then as it is now. Nothing's changed that way. But for me as a young guy, it's hard. It's a hard rain, as Bob Dylan sang. It was a hard rain growing up. And so these are all the ingredients, that were inside of me, you know, growing up. And there was always something. There was always something nagging at me. I was so undecided. What about the war? And of course, I was kind of lucky because I was in school and I transferred from Toledo University to Rutgers, and pharmacy is a 5-year curriculum. And when I transferred, I lost a year. So I was in school for 6 years. So I had a student deferment. I didn't have to deal with that. Nevertheless, it's there. It's there. And those things eat away at me, and it ate away at my character. And, of course, I've had a first marriage, and funny story. Just improvise. The night, my first wife and I, before we got married, we used to fight about everything. She wanted to go to a diner. I wanted to go for Italian food. We fought about everything. Everything. I wanted to go see a Midnight Cowboy. Great movie. Great movie. Won Best Picture of the year. She wanted to go see, Sound of Music. So there was no. So the night before we got married, we were in my mom's house, and we had a fight, some stupid fight, over I mean, it was stupid. And she got hysterical crying, ran into my mother's bathroom off the kitchen, and she cried. Then she left the house and she slammed the door, and it was like midnight. We get married the next day,
Oh my
and
gosh.
yeah, and I hoped and I prayed that my mom and dad were sleeping. They didn't hear anything because it was like midnight, and I didn't hear anything upstairs. So I figured it's okay. My mom especially didn't hear it, and so my fiance, stormed out of the house and ran out, and I take a deep breath and say, thank goodness that my mom didn't hear it. And all of a sudden, my mom comes in from the dining room. She had heard the whole thing.
Oh my goodness.
And the
Wow.
tears were dripping down her face. Crying starts. She said, Calvin, you can't marry this girl tomorrow. You just can't. I said, Ma, we're getting married tomorrow. Everything will be fine. She said, Calvin, I'm a mother. And mothers know you can't get married. I said, we're getting married tomorrow, Ma. And I said something really profound, Mike. And it was really profound. I said, Ma, it doesn't really make a difference who I marry tomorrow because my generation is getting divorced all over the place. So the truth is, let me go on with my life. Let me get it over with. Let me do whatever I have to do, get it over with, get married, pay my dues, and then eventually marry somebody I'm supposed to spend the rest of my life with. That's how I got married. First time.
I think that seems to be a blueprint for today's marriage. It seems like, oh my goodness.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh. In
Yeah.
fact, I was talking to somebody at work a long time ago, and you have these marriage licenses, you have a really outrageous divorce rate. And I think to myself, instead of a marriage license, what about a marriage lease? It's like you sign a lease for like so many years, and if you agree, you sign on more. And if you break lease, end a lease, it's like no hard feelings. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. By the way, that's exactly right. And you know what? That it I think that would work. And basically it's what we had. I expected it and of course it came true in 4 years. Boom.
Mm-hmm. 4 years, be in sales and whatever else, and all that stuff. We're here with Calvin Schwartz of this is A Tortoise of My Hair here on the Mike Wagner Show. But then also the same time that you also had a guardian angel right by you as well too, even throughout those 4 years.
Yeah. The guardian angel was a powerful thing. And again, I'll give you some quick examples. It's because you know what, you can't make this stuff up. I'll give you a cut real fast. In 1974, I just got divorced. 1974, I got divorced. I had a pharmacy. Was not a happy guy. I was living back home with my parents. My old room was painted pink because my sister moved into it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I wasn't a happy guy, and again, I've had a guardian angel. I didn't know it until more recently, but so I was at a traffic light in a suburban New Jersey town called Springfield. I had a little Volkswagen, and this was so long ago there were no seatbelts required back then. And I was at a traffic light, and I was on the right, and some guy was on the left. It was a red light, and he was revving his engines like he was kind of
On the
challenging.
race, yeah, uh-huh.
Uh-huh. And he gave me a gesture with his finger, which I then took that as a challenge. The light turned green. We both peeled out, and again, I had no fear, and I was just one angry guy. And before I knew it, we were doing like 65 and a 25, and it
Holy
was
cow.
yeah, and it was 8 o'clock at night, and the road kind of curved. He didn't see it, I didn't see it, so he hit me. So when he hit me, my reaction was I turned the wheel real sharp to avoid. And when you're going that fast in a Volkswagen with a low center of gravity, the car then started to roll over.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm rolling over in a Volkswagen, close my eyes and said a little prayer out loud, just like I'm talking to you. I said, dear God, I know you're going to take me. Just exactly what I said. I know you're going to take me. Just do me a favor. Just leave me have my arms and legs. Don't rip anything off. Just take me. And the car rolled over, and then there was a boom. The car was crushed. The car's upside down. I open up my eyes, and I'm patting myself, and I'm alive.
Oh my
And
goodness.
the car started to smoke. So I figured I better get out of here, and I climbed through the door was over my head, climbed up, and listen, I was dazed, sat on somebody's porch because and not a scratch, not a scratch on me, nothing.
Oh my goodness.
And the police came, and of course I lied. I told them, some guy hit me. I was minding my own business. And then he said, "Come here, I want to show you something." And he showed me that my car went between a tree and a pole that had been there since like the Revolutionary War. It's an old town, old trees. And he says, if your car 6 inches either way hits the tree or the pole, you're a dead man. And then he said something really interesting. He said it would appear visually that the distance between the tree and the pole, your car is wider than the distance between the tree and the pole. So we don't know how you got through there. And that always sat with me. And it's funny, that's a provable thing because the tree and the pole are there. I had the accident. They're still there, and we can always measure how wide the Volkswagen is. So that sat with me until I really got involved in doing this kind of stuff. When I started to piece all these things together, that there is some kind of a spiritual, element out there.
Hmm. And
Powerful
certainly,
stuff.
and certainly too. And according to the book, 1976 became a very good year, going from 74 to 76. You wound up having a really good year.
Yep, yep. That began to change my life around. I then met my current wife. Met her, my current wife. I did spend some time that summer in Chicago, and actually, and I'm playing some ball, and I had a girlfriend in Chicago, playing some ball, and I was a pretty good basketball player, and the powers that be were going to arrange for me to try for the Chicago Bulls before Michael Jordan, obviously.
Oh yeah, I remember watching the Bulls back in the day. I think my dad took me to Chicago Bulls games. That was like what, Artis Gilmore. Then I think you had let's see,
Oh, I don't even remember.
I'm trying to think those Artis Gilmore, Norm Van Leer,
Yeah.
John Mengelt, and those are like
Wow.
they played just for fun. It wasn't the whole serious ball. And of course Michael Jordan was like unheard of back then. Only 4 or 5 thousand fans came to Chicago, but the
Right.
Blackhawks were the big thing at the time too. And
Yeah.
Stan Mikita, Dennis Hall, and Tony Esposito, everything like that. It didn't care. It's just like you being a stand, that was a cool thing. But nice part that, well, you got to have some free balls. Try to get down to close to close to center court as much as possible. Nobody really cared. It's only
Right.
5,000 people showed, but they had fun though.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So I finished, my girlfriend and I, we kind of went in different directions, and I was back here, and I actually had entertained thoughts of, backpacking and going to Europe. I was not happy being single, and nothing was working out, and so I was looking into like backpacking, going to Europe, and near the end of my time here in the States, I was at a dance in New York City, and I was telling the bartender that I was from Texas, uh,
Oh,
and my father had oil wells, and
hmm.
I was hoping he would introduce me, to some women. And, I'm a Texan and oil wells and blah blah blah. And just as soon as I was telling him, life is so funny. Life is a matter of a second here, a second there. Just as I was telling him, I'm from Texas. My father has oil wells. These two girls came over to the bar, and I heard one girl say to the other, "This guy over here thinks he's really cool, and he ain't from Texas."
Nah.
And I heard her say that, and it kind of annoyed me. It's like none of her business, and who is she? And so I said to her, "Hey, can we talk?" So we went over and sat down on two chairs, and we got married 7 months later.
Oh wow. And that was the girlfriend that you knew back in the day?
No, this was
A
the
different
girl
one.
who
Okay.
she just walked over at the right time in the right place, and she heard me say I'm from Texas, and she said to her friend, "This guy ain't from Texas, and he's not cool," and that bothered me. And so I asked to talk to her, and we got married 7 months later. Boom, and we're still married.
How do you like that? That is so cool as well. And of course, being on a freshly paved road, the road to change, leading the change and everything. We're here with Calvin Schwartz, and there's a tortoise in my hair. We'll get to that in a minute. You listen to the Mike Wagner Show at the MikeWagnerShow.com, powered by SoundCloud Studios, brought to you by official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Moses Missing, the Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including theories, quiz opinions, and King David Psalms, Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. Back with the multi-talented author of the book, Calvin Schwartz, of There's a Tortoise in My Hair, after this timeout.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey there, Dana Alexa here, American News anchor. Hey, let me ask you something real quick. Why do you read a book? You're buying a story, a thought, a message. And a good book entertains and inspires. And that's exactly what Missing by award-winning author Mian Zia does. I have his book right here. And it's based on real events with relatable characters that hook you from start to finish. I personally love this book. It's super powerful and meaningful. You can actually get it on Amazon right now.
The Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Serena Wagner's book, The Sweet Psalmist, now available on Amazon. This book includes 30 exquisite paintings by well-known and unknown painters and King David Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives us a new perspective on his life in this book. Through the Psalms he wrote, his time as a shepherd in the field is where the book starts, and it goes on to describe his complicated and turbulent relationship with King Saul as well as other events. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, and more. It also offers advice on approaching God and living a life that pleases him. Check out the book, The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, now available on Amazon. Keywords, Sweet Psalmist, Serena Wagner.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to the Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back, amazing author Calvin Schwartz of There's a Tortoise in My Hair, a journey to spirit here on the Mike Wagner Show. And of course, it's basically a road to redemption. 1976 was a big one. And of course, you've got a freshly paved road, and you had more great things that were ahead of you as well.
Yep. So I did the Luxottica group thing for 25 years, and then along the way it was time to start a family, and we ran into lots of problems wanting to start a family, and I had some issues that had to get resolved, and my wife had issues, and nothing got resolved, and we did this thing called in vitro fertilization. Nothing happened, and we did that. And then we talked for a year and a half, 2 years. What do we do? And I just needed to be somebody's father. So we adopted. We adopted our son when he was a day old, and of course, fast forward a little bit. My son and daughter-in-law dropped off the two grandkids here on Friday, and they went away for a weekend. And we had to do grandkids, 4 and 3 years old, and that's it's interesting because I work with this amazing woman, Kay Wagner from Bold Authors Network. Of no relation to you, and Kay had read this, and she said, Calvin, she loved it, and she said, Calvin, there's 4 books within here. So what do you mean? She says, there's 4 books. Your journey to become a parent is a very inspiring, emotional, heavy, funny type journey. Why don't we write a book, her and me? And then she said, you also spent 25 years working for the richest Italian in the world, a multi-billionaire. You must have learned a lot of stuff. So it did. I mean, my whole life has changed. So you're actually the first to know this or see this. We've been working, Kay Wagner and I have been working on what we call a business fable. It's a business fable, and it'll be published in October. Well, 10 things I learned from the billionaire, a business fable, because I learned a lot of stuff and it's enjoyable and it's heavy. And as I said, one of the things before to you, Mike, life is a sale. I
Mhm.
love that because everything you do in life is a sale. So the better as a salesperson you are, the better you are. So it's been a great journey. When I got involved with NJ Discover, this amazing production company here in New Jersey, and I started doing some stuff for him, some promotion work for him, and then he said, "You want to do some stories? We'll create a website." And so I said, "Yeah, I'd love to become like a journalist. I'd love that." So
Nice.
right outside the gate, I started covering homelessness and hunger and autism, and eventually got involved in the music world here because 2 miles from my house, this guy Bruce Springsteen lives.
Oh, yes, Bruce Springsteen. Holy cow.
2 miles.
Unbelievable.
So this is Springsteen country. So I, when I started my journalism, and Springsteen was quote born. He was born in Freehold, New Jersey, but he was quote born in Asbury Park, and
Uh-huh.
and that was where he started doing with a band called Steel Mill, and actually I read about that in here. It was a great little place in the late '60s, early '70s, and that's where Bruce started. So I kind of got my feet wet, and loved getting involved with the Asbury Park music scene and hanging out with like Vinny Lopez, the original drummer from
Mm-hmm.
Street Band, and met an endless array of people. And then I got involved with Danny Coleman, who's a music journalist. And before I know it, a couple blinks of the eye, and I'm co-hosting his Rock on Radio show, uh, um, um, which is beyond my comprehension because I didn't know much about music. I knew about Peter, Paul, and Mary and Bob Dylan, stuff like that. But so it's been a great journey. And then the teaching gig at Rutgers, only because I wanted to give back, and because I've been learning so much stuff. So you give back to some students, and before you know it, a whole bunch of students contact you, and they want you to kind of help them, and they see all that going on. So Rutgers said, "How about just teaching them?"
Mm.
So I started teaching. Rough job teaching.
Oh yeah, well I gotta say that it's probably one of the more most fulfilling ones out there as well too. And plus, you also ended up being the the host of Conversations, which is the species as well.
Yes. So that I loved doing my journalism. I loved doing these stories that had meaning. And when the pandemic hit, we had to stop, our TV show, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I had all this energy, and I was actually talking, not talking, but I was messaging a track star at Rutgers University. She was a sophomore, Claudine Smith. She was a triple jump record holder, and we were just messaging back and forth. And after we were done messaging, I said, "Gee, what a grounded, interesting young woman, and just had such a handle on things." So the following week, I said, "Can we like talk on the phone?" So we talked on the phone. We talked about Rutgers. We talked about track, and one thing led to another. Then a light bulb went off in my head. Ma, there must be armies of people like her who are so grounded and have such a handle on life and things. Why don't I just, interview him? So I asked my daughter-in-law. She taught me this thing called Zoom.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Which one right now? Uh-huh.
Yep. That was it. I started Zooming, and it was a slow growth, and now almost 5 years later, I'm approaching 400 people all over the world that I've
Wow,
interviewed,
amazing.
and love it, and love it, and it's a give back because you're giving people a platform, and it's hard today to have a platform, just like you're doing, Mike.
Right, exactly. And of course, there's reason behind. You got to have a purpose on platforms. We want everybody to check out conversations with Calvin, We the Species, with Calvin Schwartz. And now you have podcasts, you run a media company, you've been writing articles and everything. You also appear in a couple of films like One True Thing and World of Worlds. And tell us more about that.
Right. Well, the one true thing And this is a great lesson for your listeners. If you stay at home, nothing's going to happen. So one day, it was 97, November 97, my sister called to say, hey, they're filming a movie, a big movie, Meryl Streep, William Hurt, Renee Zellweger, a big motion picture in our hometown called Maplewood, New Jersey. And she said, you want to go watch them? I said, wow, that would be great. So I got dressed. I didn't know I was going to be in a movie because who would ever dream you were going to be in a movie? So I put on a sweater because it was cold and it was an outside shoot, and I had a sweater that had big mustard stains from Madison Square Garden, and I ran out of the house. My wife thought I was completely out of my mind. She said some things that I keep throwing back to her. She just thought I was out of my mind. Anyway, we went up to watch it, and it was a great. It was near the end of the movie, and they were filming a scene. Meryl Streep was dying in the movie, and they're going to light the Christmas tree lights, and they had a machine making snow, but you couldn't get to within 3 blocks of where they were shooting because everything was blocked off. And they did tremendous amount of. They put all these fake storefronts on this little, this 3 block little town center, and we just did it for like an hour and a half, and it was just amazing all the work that went into this one scene. And then the police got word that they're doing a break, they're breaking, so they'll let people walk on set and get a container of milk from the milk store, and if you want to get a slice of pizza, get a slice of pizza. So I said to my sister, let's get a slice of pizza. We'll be right smack in the middle of everything till they chase us away.
Uh-huh.
Oh, we went to the pizza place and we set a New Jersey state record for chewing one slice of pizza for 2 hours.
Oh my goodness.
We just a little here, a little here, a little here, and then after 2 hours, all of a sudden everything is, all the activities going on, the machine is making snow. So I said to my sister, let's just walk out and just watch, and they'll chase us away. So we walked out, and we were right next to an old Art Deco movie theater, and that's where all the actors and actresses were staying warm, and we're just looking at everything, and all of a sudden, right next to me is Meryl Streep standing.
How do
right
you
next
like
to me.
that?
So I'm not shy, and I started talking to her, and said how much I admire her movies, and she talked to me a little bit. I didn't know what to say. I was kind of nervous. And while I was talking to her, one of the production assistants saw that and came over to me and said, he thought I was part of that whole entourage. Meryl Streep, Renee Zellweger, William Hurt. And he told me, come on, we got to place you now. So I gave sister a shot in the ribs. He takes us right on the set. And then he says, you know everything you have to say and do? And I said, well, it's been a long day. Just kind of go over it one more. And he tells me, and he walks away, and I look at my sister. I said, we're going to be in a movie. And then I said to myself, I got a little piggy. I said, we're in the back here. There's like 150 people. They're all extras in the town square. I said, I don't want to be in the back. So I said, I'm working my way up front. So you actually see me in the movie pushing my way up front. So I got really close to Meryl Streep. And I'm in the movie. One True Thing, Meryl Streep is nominated for an Academy Award. And the funniest thing about that is years and years and years later, my wife started dating his wife. And I had met his wife 3 or 4 times, Delilah. And it was a Saturday, some years ago, and she picked up the phone. She called my son. She said, Neil, I'm watching this movie, One True Thing. It's the funniest thing. There's a guy in the movie who looks just like your father.
Huh.
And my son said, that is my father. And right after that, stuff went to my head. I'm in a movie. So I did audition for Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise. I did audition, and they actually called me twice.
How do you like that? Wow.
They called me twice, and I actually did. This was the biggest mistake I ever made in my life. I'm right here on the Mike Wagner show. It went to my head, and when the casting agent called me the second time, I turned him down because I had to take off 8 days. It was a long shoot. I said I'll do it, but I want a guarantee of screen time.
Uh-huh.
At which time the agent said, she laughed at me. She said, "We don't even give that to Tom Cruise. So why are we
Huh.
going to give it to you?" So I turned it down. Big mistake. But a little time after that, I went to Central Casting in New York, and I became an official extra.
How you like that?
Yep, and literally within 2 weeks of my signing up with Central Casting, I got a call, and they were filming a new TV show called New Amsterdam, a doctor show. And I got called, and I became an extra for the opening montage. They filmed two scenes in the opening montage. It was 6 hours to film that scene. My job was sitting on a sofa next to a little kid who presumably was my son, and we did that for 6 hours. And then 6 hours later, we filmed the next scene in the lobby of the I, I guess it was the Bellevue hospital. And
Mm-hmm.
at this point, I was tired and hungry, and I did not want to stand. So when nobody was looking, I found a little thing and I sat down for 6 hours, and then they brought us upstairs to feed us after 12 hours. And by the time I got up to the food, I was at the end of the line. There was no more food left.
Oh
So
no.
so I retired from being an extra. End of my extra career.
Well, you had some extra things to talk about, not just being extras, you being on film and authors and everything like that. You also are on an advisory board as well, too, on women's health. Tell us more about that.
Yes. So, and this is another great thing for listeners. When I left Luxottica and I decided to become a journalist, I said to myself, I've got to find some kind of branding. And what am I going to do? Well, I'm 6'5", so I'm tall, I stand out. And it came to me one day to put on a Rutgers hat. And wherever I go, whatever I do, I'm a Rutgers brand, football, basketball, whatever. So I've had the hat on. I've had the hat on my head. It never comes off. To be dramatic, one night I actually wore it to bed, and my wife didn't let me get into bed because she said, "I'm drawing the line, Calvin. No hats in bed." Um,
I
so
don't blame, you know what I'm saying, unless it's the cat. So,
yeah. So, but anyway, I was at the Garden State Film Festival 6 years ago. It's a great independent film festival. I got really friendly with the founder, Diane, and the current director. And I was there doing stories, interviewing some filmmakers. And a woman came over to me and asked me, "Excuse me, are you a Rutgers professor?" And of course, at that time, I wasn't. And I always dreamed of becoming a Rutgers professor.
uh-huh.
And I said, "No, I wish I was." And she said, "Well, here's my business card." She gave me a business card. I gave her mine. I never looked. I just, threw it in my pocket. And then a week later, that woman called me, and her name is Dr. Gloria Bachman, MD, OBGYN, director of the Women's Health Institute at Rutgers Robert Johnson Medical School.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She saw I'm a journalist and a writer, and she said, "Would you like to come to um, a lecture at the hospital?" So I said, "Yeah, sure. My pleasure." So I went. I actually took my wife, first and last time she ever went on the road with me like that. It wasn't the topic wasn't something I was particularly interested in, and it was a little graphic, showing some surgery. I'm not a blood and guts kind of guy, and nevertheless, I did, and I wrote up a little piece for that. And 2 weeks later, Dr. Bachman called me, "Would I like to come to another lecture?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." Hey, I'm a retired guy. I got all the time in the world you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I did, and then I went to a dinner and honoring her because she's written like hundreds of papers. She's known the world over. And then before I know it, a month later, "Would you like to be on the advisory committee of the Women's Health Institute, and that's what I've been doing. Uh, and it's been a wonderful journey because I learned things that I would have never imagined learning. Why? Because I had a hat on.
You got that right. And also, not only you on the Women's Board of Health, advocate Rutgers, and you also taught career exploration as well, too. And in fact, people need a career, and especially people need a job. So where to start? Best place. So
Correct. And we're living in such a changing world. It is so dramatic, with AI. It's so dramatic how things are changing. So it was a thrill for me to teach career explorations. It was, and this is, it's 6 years ago. It wasn't a long time ago. And back then, there wasn't even an AI, even on the horizon, more or less, like it is now. But to prepare for each lecture, I used to have to read like 20 articles and watch about 6 different videos. I mean, it was intense.
oh
Uh,
wow.
it
Okay.
was really, really intense. And then the grading and the lecture, I was doing 2 of these things a week. Uh, it was hard. It was really, really hard. And my wife was a teacher, for 35 years in New York, Jersey. And I could never appreciate just how hard it is. It's totally consumptive. You go home at 4 o'clock, you're not done. And I was never done. And it was just so much that they wanted me to continue teaching. I retired. One semester done, but I loved it. And you know what? I'd do it again. I guess I'd do it again because it's a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Uh,
And certainly did as well, too. And lastly, what do you want people to get from the book? There's a tortoise in my hair.
uh, it's funny. We talked about this today in this authors group that I'm in with Kay Wagner. What I would love people to get out of this, and if you read it, and by the way, everything spiritual in this book really happened verbatim to me. There's a lot of other stuff that's fiction, but whatever you read about spiritually happened to me, and I would just love people. By the way, there's such a powerful spiritual thing in this that 3 weeks ago today, I wrote the Pope.
Nice.
Well, yeah, I actually wrote the new Pope. Why? Because I have a character in here who I love Villanova University. I don't know why I love Villanova University, but I love Villanova. My character and me always talk about going to Villanova. Well, the Pope went to Villanova. And then in 1962, in here and then in real life, I'm feeling ecumenical and really needing to see midnight mass and be at it.
Hmm.
So a friend and I, we went to midnight mass at St. Leo's in Irvington, New Jersey, and the Pope is Pope Leo.
Huh. Interesting.
So there's a bunch of spiritual things in here that I just felt if he ever read it, he would be a little bit intrigued because there's some really powerful stuff you can't make up. So what would I want people to take away from this? That there's something beyond, the earth. This isn't the end all. There are things beyond our grasp and our understanding. I call it spirit. It's a spirit's a wonderful word. It kind of is like an umbrella word for a lot of things, but I call it spirit. Hey, I think I don't know if I ever mentioned, but I got healed big time. I was walking with a cane and couldn't walk, and I needed to get a new knee. And actually, I was at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem and went inside Christ's this little room where Christ's casket is, where he was buried and where he's resurrected from. And I put my hands there and I meditated. The
Oh
next
my
day,
gosh.
yeah, and a few days later, and again, walking with a cane, couldn't walk, pain. And then 4 days later, I went to the Church of the Annunciation in Nazareth, Mary's Church. And I was by myself. I was with my wife, and sister-in-law, and cousin. They were doing their thing. I walked with a cane and real slow. And I walked down to the basement. There's a shrine to Mary. I did some meditation. I love to meditate and did some thinking. And I walked up real slow. A lot of strange pain going up and down my leg. and I took a right turn and went out a side entrance. Took one step, I go out, and I grabbed my head again, and I yelled, "Oh my God!" And everybody comes running. What happened? You all right? I said, "I'm healed. No more pain, no more cane, no more knee operation." In front of 4 witnesses. Came back to Jersey, went to my orthopedist, who's a dear friend of mine, Dr. Steve. So what's the deal here? You treat me for 2 years. Everything under the sun was done to my knee. Nothing worked. So I'm getting a new knee. Now I don't need a new knee. He went like that. But that's in here too. I wrote about that too because I don't have answers. I just have experiences, and they're nice, and it's comforting. So that's what I like. People, I'm a regular guy. I wear a Rutgers hat. I go to football games, basketball games. I do watch the Stanley Cup Finals.
And that was a heck of a Stanley Cup. I mean, put away Edmonton once and for all.
Were you a big fan of Edmonton when they had Gretzky?
I have to say this, although I've been a Blackhawk fan, I got to say this. Gretzky was very, very, very entertaining to watch. And there are tons of Blackhawks actually had their handle on them. I mean, their scores guys was like, 6'4", 7'5", 9'7". It's like, throw the defense out the window, just let them play. It's like, you get in a shootout. That's the thing. It's like, you don't ever hurt Gretzky. It's like, let him have a hat trick and let our boys have a hat trick. So it's like, every time you play Edmonton, expect a shootout. So put your track shoes on and just have fun with the legend.
Yeah. I've said this. Listen, I love sports. I love everything. There is no sport on earth that even comes close to hockey. Nothing. And listen, I watch that movie whenever it's on, about the 1980 Olympic team.
Oh, Miracle on Ice, yes. Or do you believe in miracles?
Yeah. I love to watch that. There are 2 versions. I think Kurt Russell played Herb Brooks. But I marvel at that, and I marvel at the game of hockey. And we talked about it. There's just nothing like it because there's no, football. They run a play, and 8 seconds later, in the huddle, and 30 seconds, and basketball's it kind of moves too, but just different. So
of course, hockey keep going and going and going and going. If you need a change up, it's like dump the puck, change lines quickly, or if you don't give the players a breather, just go ice the puck, or just like purposely dump the puck in the crowd and pray to God nobody gets hurt, or like, hey, somebody gets a souvenir. So there's ways around it. So they get really creative.
Correct. But it's just a great sport on all levels. I watched Love Story. Came out, I don't know, 1970, something like that. And, Ryan O'Neal plays a hockey player. Just all these little, and one of my favorite movies is Slapshot.
Yes, Paul Newman. My goodness, what a movie that was. Henry, your wife's a dyke. Now remember that part, and it's like the goalie tries to fight, and they got the Hanson brothers.
Hanson brothers.
Sure, told Blake, old-time hockey. Yeah, and you know what? That was the story of the actual Hanson brothers playing in minor leagues, and they were very good guys, and I think all 3 of them at least played at one NHL game.
So wait, did the movie take those Hanson brothers from real life?
That was inspired by the Hanson brothers, yes.
Okay. Great movie. I mean, I love watching that. I love Paul Newman because, and just a phenomenal actor. And I thought that was one of his better. Reggie.
Hanrahan, yes.
Yeah. And, all of that stuff. And Michael Onking, when he starts doing that striptease.
That was hilarious. That was a way to like, hey, let's stop the fighting and everything like that. Yeah, that's too funny.
Oh, it was great. Just a priceless movie. And actually, I have it, up there. And when I have to be in that mood. And, I watch it a few times a year because I love it. It's great stuff.
And plus, you got You got baseball on the right over here, and I'm seeing it looks like the Yankees celebrating a World Series. That's on your left, which is my right here in the screen.
Correct. I won this. I never won anything, but I don't know which one it is, but that's Mariano Rivera right in the middle over here. And yes, they won the World Series. Oh no, this was the playoffs. They won the 2009 playoffs.
Oh,
so
wow. Okay.
That's the 2009 playoffs that are going to the World Series. And all around my office, I have Yankee pictures. And actually, I just do. But I was more of a Dodger fan back then because, the Dodgers, had Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale and Newcomb and Duke Snyder. I mean, I'm going back to the 50s.
Way back to Brooklyn for heading to LA. So that's when we grew up, like with Don Sutton, Steve Garvey, Reggie Smith, Ron Say, Steve Yeager. It's like, oh my gosh, I could run the whole starting lineup. That, and they paired with the Big Red Machine, 76. That was your turning point year and my turning point year. It's like,
that's right.
76, I was 12. Holy cow.
Okay.
I'm dating myself too. So,
hey, you know what? We're here. We're here, Mike, and I listen. I accept. Hey, I'm 80, and I accept it, and it's but another thing. I've been in 1969 studying pharmacology. I said to myself, I don't think I want to age traditionally, like who really has control of that. But I started taking a cocktail of vitamins, nothing outrageous, a little vitamin C, a little B complex, a little this, a little that. But, it got up to be like 60 a day, 60 a day. And actually, there's a video on Conversations with Calvin. It's called Say Hello to My Little Friends. And it's a 2-minute video where I take a box. I tell people that I love longevity and I try to do things to keep this thing working really well. So at 80, the thing works really well. And you actually see me dumping 60 bottles of vitamins into my lap on that.
Oh my gosh.
Say hello to my little friends. I got that from Al Pacino, Tony Montana, Scarface. He took the gun, but I just took but I've lived my life so that I can function at 80 full throttle and do these kind of things. I know you come from a place where I guess beef is a big industry.
Correct. Yeah. Being in the Midwest, beef is a big thing, and agriculture, what else? And of course, pizza from my old neck of the woods. So
yep. So you're from Chicago, right?
I lived in Chicago for 30 years before coming to Bismarck. I was born and raised in Racine, which is Milwaukee, Wisconsin, for 9 years, 30. And by divine intervention, we ended up in Bismarck, North Dakota. So that's part of the journey, and looking forward to have you on your podcast as well. In the meantime, where can we find your book? Where can we find your podcast? Where can we find all your works at, Calvin?
All right. So the book is on Amazon. It's on Amazon and Amazon Kindle, and you can find me on Facebook. I'm Cal Schwartz on Facebook. On LinkedIn, I'm Calvin Schwartz. And my website for the book and a few other things is calvinschwartz.com.
All right. We'll certainly check that out. Here's the amazing author Calvin Schwartz. If there's a tortoise in my hair, a journey to spirit here on the Mike Wagner Show. Just a few more things, Calvin. What else can we expect from you in 2025 and beyond?
Well, 2 more books this year. 2 more books. I'm going to do a series, 10 things I learned, 10 things I learned about adoption, 10 things I learned from the billionaire, and a few more 10 things I've learned. I'm so charged to do this. And it's funny. Never in a million years, after spending 5 years of doing this and then another year to edit and get it up and out, I never thought I would do this stuff again. And it's kind of like a scene from The Godfather 3 when Michael Corleone says, just when I wanted to get out, they pull me back in. So I wanted to stop writing and relax and watch some TV, and I got pulled back in to do some more writing. So there's 2 more books this year, and maybe next year 2 more books, and then maybe a trip to Bismarck.
Oh, that'd be great as well. I think that's your spirit that's kind of like, luring in. Guardian Angel says, don't stop, don't stop. And I think that's your guardian angel right there. So I got to meet him one day. So
You're right. So do I,
you
actually.
got that right. So who do you consider biggest influence in your career, Calvin?
That's a great question. And it would be really hard. It would be really hard to answer. I marvel at certain writers, Philip Roth, John Irving, World According to Garp, Kurt Vonnegut, Slaughterhouse-Five. I marvel at them. Actually, I've been compared to them, and that's why those are some of my heroes. And I've been compared to them by Kirkus Reviews. I got a Kirkus star. So, and filmmakers, I consider, Francis Ford Coppola and Marty Scorsese, Steven Spielberg, filmmakers are such heroes to me because they paint such powerful pictures and images, and it's so difficult, to do that. I just watched Patton last night.
Oh, yeah, that's a great movie.
Loved it. And I've seen it before, and I marvel at George C. Scott. So I marvel, at filmmakers. I marvel at actors. I marveled at George C. Scott. I watched him in that movie, his face, his eyes, every little thing, every nuance that he picked up. And so, actors, actresses, heroes, Meryl Streep, a hero. So there's a whole bunch. I don't have any, Hemingway, a phenomenal writer. His thing was less is more.
Uh-huh.
Sports player, I marvel at singers and Springsteen and Joan Baez. I mean, I just I try to draw energy from these people who accomplish.
You accomplish a lot just like you have. I'm looking forward to what you got, Calvin. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
You know what? Do it now. Do it right. If you're going to do anything, just do it, but do it right. And research and read and study up. And that was one of the things I learned working for a billionaire. Do it now, do it right. So you try in life to do it now, to be accepting and to be open. Do it now and do it right, and put an antenna out there, because we all have the gifts of having an antenna to reach out into this wonderful universe, this mysterious universe. And if you put an antenna and you think there's something out there, put it up. Open yourself. If you open, you could receive.
That's very true, and I think that's a really good point you made. We're here with the amazing author Calvin Schwartz of There's a Tortoise in My Hair, A Journey to Spirit here on the Mike Wagner Show. Calvin, a very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely amazing, learned a lot. Looking forward to having you soon. Keep us up to date, keep in touch, laugh, have you back. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your book?
Right. So again, my book is Amazon, Kindle and Amazon. My website, calvinschwartz.com. Facebook, Cal Schwartz, LinkedIn, Calvin Schwartz. I'm open and would welcome anybody connecting with me. Hey, I'm a retired guy. I sit in this chair, so I'm really responsive. That's another great lesson, to be responsive, and I'm responsive. So anybody wants to get in touch with me, I'm just a happy guy. My pleasure.
All right. We'll certainly have you on as well. Once again, Calvin, very big thank you for your time. You've been totally amazing. Looking forward to having you soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Laugh at back. We wish our best. And Calvin, you definitely have a great future ahead.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey there, Dana Alexa here, American News anchor. Hey, let me ask you something real quick. Why do you read a book? You're buying a story, a thought, a message. And a good book entertains and inspires. And that's exactly what Missing by award-winning author Mian Zia does. I have his book right here. And it's based on real events with relatable characters that hook you from start to finish. I personally love this book. It's super powerful and meaningful. You can actually get it on Amazon right now.
The Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Serena Wagner's book, The Sweet Psalmist, now available on Amazon. This book includes 30 exquisite paintings by well-known and unknown painters and King David Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives us a new perspective on his life in this book through the Psalms he wrote. His time as a shepherd in the field is where the book starts, and it goes on to describe his complicated and turbulent relationship with King Saul as well as other events. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, and more. It also offers advice on approaching God and living a life that pleases him. Check out the book, The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, now available on Amazon. Keywords, Sweet Psalmist, Serena Wagner.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.